practical step-by-step of software where we can use that for our respective wetland ecosystem. You will learn about the tools of ArcGIS, and we will be doing the past analysis, current classification, and the future modeling, how we can know what would be the future of the wetlands. So this will be, we will covering in this session about the introduction to the software and how they're modeling. So shall I share the slides? Start it. Okay. Just a minute. So is it visible?
Sure, as well.
Okay. So here we will be discussing about the remote sensing and GIS for the identification, demarcation, and modeling of wetland ecosystems, right? So there will be 4 topics. We'll be covering a bit of wetlands and their identification, classification, mapping, and future modeling. So no, I don't think we need to define we need to learn about the definition of the Ramsar Convention. Particularly, according to Ramsar Convention, there are about 12.1 million square kilometers of wetlands, but out of which 2.56 million kilometers square are only designated as a Ramsar Convention, and rest are still on the verge of their existence. Some are under the threat, some are going to be lost completely. So wetlands are the most vulnerable kind of ecosystem. So we will be learning through the technique. Remote sensing and GIS is a very cost-effective, time-saving and inexpensive, cheap method of studying the ecosystem and using that for their preparation of management, conservation, and restoration plans. So there are different type of wetlands like marine, estuarine, riverine, lacustrine, and palustrine wetlands based on their association with the ocean or with the estuaries or rivers or the inland lakes or the marsh area. In this lecture, we will be learning about that, the techniques using the lacustrine, one of the India's largest saline lake, Sambar Lake, taking it in as a experiment, as our case study site. So ecosystem services, as yes is based on ecosystem services, it is very important. We know that wetlands provide a lot of food, fodder, habitat, and byproduct for different industries, hydropowers, and nutrient cycling. They also help in regulation of the groundwater recharge, microclimate regulation, preventing storms, salt storms, sandstorms, so many floods. They maintain the water surface. Most importantly, they help in the carbon storage. They also bird watching, ecotourism, research purpose, and different recreational activities. So these ecosystem, wetland ecosystem may be marine or lacustrine, any kind of ecosystem. Wetlands are very vital nowadays in the era of climate crisis. So though these are very important, still they are under the severe threats like agriculture, water is decreasing, illegal groundwater extraction, illegal business, whether it's salt business, artemia, or the habitat alteration. In most of the cases, wetlands are considered as the wasteland in many of the countries, and they are converted into solar panel renewable energy sites. Instead of restoring, now they are being included in the wasteland, and as a result they are being converted to other sites. So instead of these problems, we can use this technology help to prevent the loss of further degradation or loss of these wetland ecosystems, right? So Wetland identification as it is, first of all, if we want to know wetland, as we have said, there are different types of wetland. Different wetlands will have different, are located in different places, geographical places. Some wetlands are located near the ocean, so they will show the characteristics of tidal or estuarine wetlands. Some will be in the lake, so in the inland lake. Some will be near the marshy area, swamp area. So these are the different wetlands will show as a different signatures in the satellite image. Now, we will not go in depth into the theoretical concepts of remote sensing, but if everyone must be knowing that remote sensing is just the satellite image, the basic fundamental. Remote means a distance. Sensing means to sense, like here, or to feel. So the remote sensing technology is the image that we get from the satellite. So different wetlands will be visible to us at different way. So to start with the study, we can use the Google Earth to understand our study area, whether we are in any continent, to be accumulate, to get familiar with our study area, that how it looks and what are the nearby areas. So there are certain visual interpretation keys in the remote sensing. We can identify the elements using the color, shape, size, association, position, textures, and shadows. Like example, shadow. Many of the times what happens, shadow is the dark color, and water bodies, pure water bodies are also seems to be dark color. So how to differentiate with the help of association. So in a satellite image, different kind of elements are used to identify the water body. So we can see that this is an example. We see how the different signatures are there. If you see the deep blue color, this is the ocean. This is Bay of Bengal Sea. So this part is a blue color, dark blue color, whereas there is a nearby lake is there, Chilika Lake, as you can see in the arrow. This is completely a single lake. But if you see in the upward side, there is more like a sand color. Sands are the turbidity due to, as water is a universal solvent. So it can dissolve turbidity like sand or other pollutants, and different it imparts different colors. So in a satellite image, if we see through the Google Earth, towards the upward, it more like a brownish color, whereas there is a transition in the middle, and towards the end you can see there are more like a green color. So towards the end part, we can see that these could be green color due to the algal deposition, maybe due to algal bloom or any kind of aquatic species. Whereas in the upper part, there could be more like the inorganic deposition. And in the ocean, there is blue color. So if we go through another example, this is a salt lake, Sambar Lake. So this lake is a salt, so its surrounding is white color, where in the middle part you can see the water is somewhere it is blue, somewhere it is light green, somewhere deep green. Even in the part of eastern part, you can see there is red patches there. So water is looking red because of the halophiles, the extreme red pigmented algae. So water could impart any color, if it's green algae, so it will appear green in the satellite image. If it's having the red algae, it may impart red color, brick red, deep red, or even more condensed lake. If you see here, different kinds of color, you can see that in the it's not clearly visible, but even there is pink color, blue color. So different algae, based on the content of water, it may appear different color in the satellite image. So here, if you see, it is a lake here in the hilly area. It's a Himalayan region. So it is completely a pure undisturbed water. So here water is like blue color, as if we have in our mind that water is blue. So here we see blue color. But at the same time, if you see towards little corner part, there are two patch of small lakes are there. One is blue color and another is also green color. So within the same territory, depending upon the abiotic property or biotic component, water appears in different colors. So we have to identify that these are water bodies, could be due to different its content, right? So here there is another water body. You are surprised that this is completely in black color. So this is a urban area. You can see that there are completely settlement is there, and there are city. It is a Ajmer city of Rajasthan, and in the mid of the city there is a lake called Anasagar Lake, and it is completely, you can see that like it seems to be a black hole. It is neither green color nor it's brown color of any pollutant, or it's neither like any algae deposition green color, or the clear water like a blue color. So here it is another type of signature it is giving in the satellite images. And here if we see, this is a riverine wetland. Here this is a Asan Barrage. There is a dam. So the river channel, you can see that there is water signature, another kind of color. So here the point is to say that based on the location, based on the what is nearby area, whether it's an industrial area or it is in the city commercial area or it is in a fresh forest, based on that, water and wetland will have different kind of signatures in the different locations. So when we get acquainted with the study area with through the Google Earth zoom in and zoom out, then the next task is to wetland classification. We need to study area, classify that what is the nearby areas, and for that we need to download the satellite image. Then for other purposes we can have our ancillary data like elevation map, soil map, vegetation types, and then we can combine them in the compatible format, prepare the data for the further modeling. So to start with, this is I will describe in a very simple step-by-step manner, and there will be no theoretical discussion here. And here you can see that Earth Explorer is one of the open website where we can easily get our satellite data. So earthexplorer.usgs.gov is the website. This is the interface where here this is the here the red box demarcates that where we have to put the study area, which wetland you want to work upon. Then it will automatically take into the, it will retrieve the latitude and longitude, and towards the down there you can feed in the date extension, whether you want the daily satellite image or you want this from, and you can use the starting date and end date, so that all the tiles available freely will get displayed. So in the downstairs, in the down part of the box, you can see that there is an option called data set. There we will click so that we can see what is the available data sets. So after the search criteria is filled up, next part is to select the data, which satellite data will be suitable for our study. We are doing the wetland vegetation mapping or water classification, or only the generalized land use land cover maps. So based on that, these the window is available. You can see on the screen. There are Landsat is there, a Sentinel is there, radar, microwave image, digital, commercial satellite, there are declassified data, various data is available. For our simple understanding, here we will be taking the Landsat image, right? So when we click on the Landsat image and we go to the next steps, the window in the left side, here you can see that all the list of the available data will be tiles. The satellite tile will be available. You can see in the tab that there are 7 pages are there. There are so many data from our start date to the end date. So individual tile you can see here. And from there, we have to see that in the top of the tile, there are so many clouds. White dots are available. Those are the cloud covers. So using the cloud cover data, we cannot retrieve our data. So we have to select among all the data, we have to select the image which does not have cloud cover or at least 10% cloud cover, so that we can take that satellite data into our study. So this is the step that we have to first scroll down, see which data is having the least cloud cover, and then we have to select. So here in the next slide, you see I have taken 2 tiles. So the green highlight is the indication that selected tiles. So here you can see that the Sambar Lake is covered by 2 tiles. Or even you can take maybe that your study area covers only in a single patch, single tile itself, 30 into 30 kilometer, 30 into 30 ratio dimension. The tile, your wetland may be covered. So you see individual check which tile is usable, and then after the selection, you can download the data in the GeoTIFF format. So to particularly here, if we are taking the Landsat data, so these are the individual 10 bands of Landsat OLI. OLI is Operation Land Imager. Landsat is the satellite, whereas OLI is the sensor. Okay, so there are different sensor of Landsat like multispectral scanner, thematic mapper, enhanced thematic mapper. So this is the most advanced sensor OLI we have taken. So in the laptop, you can see that after we download the data, each band will be downloaded individually. From blue band, green band, red, near infrared, each band individually they will download. Additionally, there will be some metadata files will be downloaded where the specification of the satellite, in which time it was taken, what was the radiance value, what was the climatic condition. So these data will be also be downloaded at MTL format. Other different type of file will be downloaded. So to specify here, in a remote sensing, in a generalized manner, there is a 2 type of visualization. The one is called the true color composite image, where what happens in true color composite, we see the water in blue color, trees in green color as a natural, as the way we see the world, true color. And in remote sensing, sometimes because vegetation is so vast and they reflect highest in the near infrared region, we opt for false color composite, where we use the band near infrared, red and green color. So here in the Landsat OLI, the band 543 are the usable bands for false color composite, and band 432 are used as a true color composite. Okay. So after the satellite data is downloaded, then the satellite data has to, you see that these are downloaded in individual bands, we have to stack them into one image to see them composite. So this process is called as the composite, or the layer stacking, or composite. So different steps. So finally, we landed upon the ArcGIS, the software where we will be learning about their modeling, classification. So this is the interface of ArcGIS software, where we can use to visualize our satellite data. We can classify them, prepare maps, we can calculate the area, we can use it for wetland hydrological purpose, we can use it for the watershed management. There are vast application of this software. So here in this lecture, we will be using it in a very simple way to know to classify it as a land use, land cover, mapping and future prediction in another software. So this is the interface. The blank space is the workspace in the mid, which is white in color, where the data will be added. And in the layers, in the left corner, there is the layer. Layer option is given, where there will be the layers will be one by one, they will be added. Whatever we add, keep on adding, will be shown. And in the right side, there is a catalog window. And in this catalog window, these are the yellow color boxes are the folders that we have attached from our system to this software. And the toolboxes, the extensions, the like we have in our phone, Android phone or Apple, we have the apps. So these are the toolboxes that give us the functions to operate. So first of all, we connect, this is the plus symbol in the arrow. We add data option, where we add the data or the satellite data or the shape file we will be using. So this is the outer boundary of the Sambar Lake. As you can see that this is the shape file. Shape file, let me make it a little bit simpler. That shape file are the vector images. Vector is, there are two type of data, raster data and vector data. In raster data, the least or the smallest unit of image is the pixel. Like in camera, we have a megapixel. This pixel we keep on purchasing. So that is the, we keep on zooming image, we get a pixel. That is the raster data. And when another format is the vector data, whose smallest unit are the point, line, and polygon, the basic elements. If we keep on zooming, we'll get a dot, right? So the image you are able to see in this screen is a shape file whose extension is .shp. So this image, vector image, is the outer boundary of the lake of the study area. We have imported. So yes. So this is the, as we have downloaded the data, satellite data into different individual bands, then we used the option, the composite band. In here in the right side, you can see there is an option down the clip, raster processing, data management toolbox, and there you can go to the raster processing, where you can use the option composite bands, and there you can layer stack all the downloaded bands, or you can download the near infrared, red, blue, and green, 4 bands. So after you layer stack or the composite, the satellite image single tile, you can see like this. So this is not in the true color composite. This is in the, this is after the composite. You can see that it is somewhat looking like bluish color. Somewhere it is white color. As earlier I said that Sambar Lake is a salt lake. In the downward side, you can see there is a white patch. That is the color identification of the lake or the wetland. Saline wetland have the salt, and salt seem to, they reflect white color. So this is the color identification of this lake. So from whole tile, big tile, we will, next step will be to extract that our desired part from the whole entire composite bands, right? Using the shape file. So here we will use, here you can see that clip, same raster processing tool. There is a clip option, and using the clip, when you click on the clip option, you can see that we have to feed a certain information like input raster. So in the input raster, we will click and join there to the land set. We have a land composite, then output extend. This is here, the output extend is the Sambar Lake boundary, the shape file, the vector file that we have ready with us in our ArcGIS. We will create here. Then we will give the output data set extent, the name and the location or the folder where the file after getting clipped will be located, in which folder you want to add that. And finally, in the last option, you have to check box the maintain clipping extent. So after filling up this information of clipping desired, we want to cut the desired length. Then we can, after filling, you run the window. And here you see that the shapefile has been used to separate the extent or the desired part from the entire tile in the raster format, because our base was the raster format or the satellite format. So the output is also the raster format, TIFF.TIFF format, but we extracted it using a vector file. So here in the right side, you can see that here layer 1, 2, 3. These are the red, green, and blue band. We can change the band into false color composite, and we can visualize. This is for the general use. So after we have got acquainted with the wetlands, then through the Google Earth, their association colors, then we downloaded the data. Then after downloading, we layer, stack, and composite the entire data, each band, and then using the shapefile, we have clipped the separated our desired wetland. So till now we have identified our wetland, and we have downloaded satellite data. Further, we will be using that to the wetland classification and mapping further steps. So for image classification, there are different types of classification: supervised classification, unsupervised classification, object-based classification. So supervised classification is the type where we have the field data. Suppose you have visited your desired wetland, you have collected the latitude, longitude of different sites, and you put the data into Excel and use the data supervised. Supervised, as the name suggests, first means it is under the supervision of the researcher. The researcher knows that this part of the lake is water body, this part is settlement area, this part is vegetation area, this part is commercial area. So under the supervision, this is done. And here we will be taking as an example of unsupervised, right? So unsupervised is, we give the command authority to the ArcGIS to classify based on its experience, because water pixel will have similar kind of signatures, then vegetation will have similar type of signatures. So based on the software's capability, we classify, and then at the end we categorize them into groups or the desired classes. So for our simplest understanding, here we will going for the unsupervised classification. So for that, we have, there is an option called in the multivariate option in the tool. Yes, in the first special analyst tool. In the special analyst tool, we have multivariate option, and in that multivariate option, we have a ISO cluster option. So in that ISO cluster, what will happen? The algorithm is fit that ArcGIS will cluster according to the similarity of the signatures of different groups. It groups itself and makes the classes. So for that, we have to input the band. That here you can see the clip band is there. We clipped the extent using the shapefile. We'll input that clip, and our output will be saved in the our desired folder. So here we have to, important is number of classes. So here we have to specify how many classes you want in the unsupervised classification. Like you have already got the idea using the Google Earth. that nearby there is vegetation, there is settlement, there is agriculture, or there is a plantation area, there is barren land, fallow land. So probably you get an idea that how many into how many parts you want to classify. So here, if for this study, I have taken into 8 classes based on my study. We will be using it and classifying the study area into 8 classes, right? So once you give the command, it will classify into and from 0 to 8. So 0 is the class, the ruptured one, or the pixels that are outside that could not be classified will be in the dark portion. Sometimes it does not appear, sometimes it appears as a black color. So 1 to 8 are our classes that the software has classified. You can see that it is scattered and somewhere it is mixed and somewhere it is clear, distinct. So in unsupervised classification, there is mix of classes. So we have to use the recode option to club the classes. So after classification, there is accuracy assessment. So for accuracy assessment, you have to have your ground truth data or the field data, GPS location of the ground set, where you can feed into the software and say that yes, this is the water pixel, this is the vegetation pixel, this is the pixel classification of agriculture, and you can generate the overall accuracy kappa coefficient. So there is software will give the accuracy assessment matrix, a table, so that can be used for the authenticity of our classification. So next you can what if you do not have the even like your wetland is in a remote area, like it's you are working on a glacial wetlands, you are not able to visit that extent of the study area, then there is another option. Either you can use the Google Earth image and do accuracy assessment, or even you can use the ArcGIS itself. You can add, so in the add data option, you have in the middle add base map. So what ArcGIS adds a base map in the background. It shows the the base map, like the Google map, and there you can overlay. So here you can see if our classification is correct. Here base map is added to the workspace of the ArcGIS, and then we overlay it. When we check box both in the layers section, you see that we have LULC map and India topography map. So in India topography map, our classified map exactly overlays upon the base map. It means that the location is of the study area is correct, and there is option here to swipe. You can swipe and see whether the water pixels are classified as water or not. Vegetation is classified as vegetation, or it has been shifted to agriculture, like forest and agriculture are both the vegetation category. So you can classify and cross-check through the base map or through the Google Earth images also. So till now we have classified, and classification is over. And then what we can do, right click on the satellite image, and you will see that there is an option called open attribute table. When you click on the attribute table, you see there is a Excel kind of tabular format, a table matrix is visible. So here there are OID, ID number is there, value, count, and the band numbers are there. Opacity is for visibility, and class name. So after we have given the class names, you can see that there is a column called count. So each count is the number of pixel in each classification class. Like in our wetland class, there are 19388 pixels are there. So as correspondingly, each class have each counts. So what is this count? These are the number of pixels assigned to these particular classes. So if you can with the help of this count column, we can calculate the area. Either you use the raster calculator option, or the simplest way, like we have used the Landsat OLI. So its dimension is 30 into 30 meter. So we can multiply 98388 into 30 into 30. So length and breadth of the tile. So here we can get the area calculation. After mapping, visualizing our classes, we can calculate the area. So this is the result that out my research, that I had taken the satellite image of 1972, 81, 92 decadal studies. I had done the each decade how the wetland has changed. So with the same process of downloading the data, then clipping it and download, and then composite the bands, then clip it, then classify, and of classification, accuracy assessment, and then mapping. So we have mapped and composed, and in the left image, the first image, you can see that how the lake was full of water, and gradually there is no water. In 2019, there are certain patches of water in the lake. The terrestrial part of the lake is exposed. Now it is a wetland, and it was supposed to have the water, but it was supposed to have the water, but there is no water due to the illegal encroachment. So there are, as we had classified as salt pan, vegetation, settlements, crust, and so these are the salt pans have encroached the lake. Similarly, you can use this technique, the geospatial technology, and you can study the how the wetland status have changed. From the satellite data is available from 1972. The Landsat, the largest satellite mission till date, Landsat, and it provides the satellite image from 1972. The 1963 image is an aerial photograph of USGS. So using this aerial photograph or satellite image, you can use that for knowing your wetland from either each month or the data, or half decade, or the 5 years decadal study. Similarly, with the same process, area statistics in the figure B, we can see that there is drastic changes in the area. The area of wetland used to be 159.58 kilometers square, which dropped to 17.43 kilometers square. This is very shocking result. So you can use this technique for your mapping your wetland and calculating the area statistic, identifying the ecological indicators, identifying the threats which could in the spatial domain. So now the past study is completed, and the current visualization is also completed, and mapping is completed. After that, after knowing about the past and present, now with the help of technology, we will be knowing, we will be using modeling to know the future, to estimate what could be the probable fate. As we had known what has already happened to our wetland or the study area, now we will be estimating, getting an idea what could be the future if the same threats keep on imposed in our study area, what could happen. So we will, for this purpose, we will be using the Terrset software. This is the Idrisi software extension, which was developed by the Clark Labs at Clark University. So this is a very, very user-friendly software. Does not require any kind of machine learning or artificial intelligence or any kind of expertise in computer science. This is also a very user-friendly software as the ArcGIS, very basic software, and This software offers different packages of performance models. This has inbuilt models. This we can do the GIS analysis with image processing, habitat analysis, ecosystem services modular, climate change adaptation. So already inbuilt models are there. We need not go into the deep background inside what could be the black box and behind the software. Basics, our interest is to know what could be the future of our study area. So this is the interface without any thing. First, when you open the software Terrset, this is the blank portion is the workspace, and in the in the corner, in the left corner, you have projects, files, and filters, editors, and working folder. This is the interface of the software where we will be like in ArcGIS, we added the files, vector file, raster file. We attached our input folder, output folders.
I'm sorry. Please continue.
Yes, no issues, no issue. Yeah. So we will. This is a interface of the Terrset software for the future prediction. So first, we have to do a right click in the default portion. Default, there is a default option here, you can see, which is highlighted in the blue color. There you have to right click and make a new project, right? So with the new project, we'll be working to the for our current study area. So in the new project, then there is in the down part, there are you can see editor, name, working folder, and resource folder. In this software, resource folder is the input folder, means input or the classified images that we have prepared, the input layers. We will be attaching that folder, connecting that folder from our past layers, that is the resource folder. And there is another folder, working folder. Working folder is the folder here where the output will be connected. So make two folders in the desktop or your folders in any of the drive. One is input folder where the layers will be there, classified images, and in the working folder where the predicted maps that will be generated by this software will be saved in that working folder. So here you can see that I had created the past layers, a folder, and another folder is projected maps. So these two folders, we will connect these folders to the Terrset software. So after connection, now the folder, first step was to create a project. New project is created, then the folders are connected, the input folders and the output folder where the generated maps will be saved. So folders are connected. Then the next step is the input layers, the classified map that we had generated from ArcGIS, they are in the TIFF format. So from the TIFF format, we have to convert them into the Terrset compatible format. That is the .rst. So that format. So for what we have to do, there is an option here, the file. From file option, go to the import option. We have to import the generated past layers to this software. So import layer, then desktop publishing format and GeoTIFF/TIFF format. So after clicking the TIFF format, we will get a dialog box here or the window where we have two options. To convert GeoTIFF to Idrisi format and Idrisi to GeoTIFF. So we have to click on the first option. As our earlier classified images are in the TIFF format, we will you can see the black circle. So GeoTIFF file, here there are 3 dots is there. So when you click this, you will be linked to the input folder, right? Output future prediction folders, and you will get that 1992, 2009, and 2019. These are the prepared classified maps in the TIFF format. The linked image will be given, and then you give the output folder. The first option you see, GeoTIFF to Idrisi, you click here, then you give the GeoTIFF file name, and from you click on like 1992 image. When you click on the 1992 image, it will be linked into input. Then we have to convert it into Idrisi image. So in the second option, you click on the triple dot, and you will be linked into the external output folder. As I have created a yes folder, then you give the 1992 image, and the file extension is .rst. So this is the Terrset compatible image extension. There is nothing to worry. There is no complications. Like from just we will be converting the .tiff format to .rst format, right? So output folder, output image is connected in this way. This is nothing but the importing the classified past classified map to the Terrset software. So you can see in the interface that we have made the TIFF format compatible to .rst of 1992, 2009, and 2019. Here I want to specify that this model, what happens, it requires two data set, past data set for future prediction. Like we have to train this model from 1992 to 2009, what has happened, and then 2009 to 2019, what has happened. When the model is accustomed in the trend set, it sees the trend, then it can predict for the future. So two set of 2 decade information is required. If you are doing half decadal studies, you can similarly give two sets of past layers. So this is already so we have, so till now what happened in the Terrset image, we have created the project, we have linked the input folder and output folder of our system, computer system, to the software. Then we have converted the image from TIFF to the Terrset compatible format .rst, right? After that, there is the software, there is a package called the land change modular. Here you have seen that there are so many packages this software offers. So for future prediction, we will use the land change modular package. Out of all the packages, land change modular will be used for the future prediction. So it is a module within the Terrset software suite that facilitates land cover change analysis and modeling. And so here in the top of the interface, you see that there are different packages, and out of that we will be using the third package, land change modular. When you click on the land change modular option, the package like the interface of the software looks like this, the land change modular for ecological sustainability. So if this is the front, and when you scroll down, it offers these the blue box, you can see that certain functions it offers three tests it offers, like change analysis, change maps, and special trend of change. So what happens in this package, we have to give the input layers, past layers, and if you have, then you can give the other variables. So here in the LCM session parameters, you create create a new session. You can click on the create new session, and then we have options like earlier land cover image option is there, then later land cover image. So we have to fill up the form and you can click on the date option. It will automatically retrieve. So here you can see that when I click on the earlier land cover image, a dialog box or the window opens, and now you can see that the images are ready in the .rst format, 1992, 2009 and 2019. From here, we will select the images, like compare from 1992 to 2009, what has happened, right? So I hope you all are able to understand. Then what we will fill here, you can see that when we fit the format, create new session, that yes, experiment, then earlier land cover images, here you can see that the software has connected to the D drive of my computer system and the image is 1992. Then later land cover image, it has again connected to the output folder and the date is 2009. So this is as I am explaining in a very simple form. I have not taken here any of the variables. Like in many of the wetlands, there are hindrance like distance from the road. Like many of the wetlands have eco sensitivity zones, like there is a buffer zone set that no construction zones should be there between 20-kilometer buffer, or there should not be any construction sites, there should not be any trespass rail or road. So depending on your study area, you can create the variables. In the ArcGIS, you can similarly, as we have prepared the maps, the same way we can prepare the variables, settlement map, population map, using the DEM, you can use the slope elevation map, and these are the variables, but these are optional. Based on the threads, you can make these variables ready for this software. So what happens when we have here, let me show you. So after you have filled the LCM parameters and you have given the input, we will now go for the change analysis. So there are three type of output this software gives: change analysis, change maps, and special trend of change. So when we click after giving the input parameters, now this is the change analysis. This is the output of the first option. The software will generate the graphs, gain and loss between 1992 and 2009. These are the LULC classification in the right side. And you can see that Aravali is increased, saline soil has decreased, and then barren land has decreased, salt crust decreased, settlement class has increased so much, then water part has decreased to very much. So the wetland portion area of the wetland between 1992 to 2009 has decreased so much. In the graph, you can see that from till 90,000 units. Okay, so from the first option, as you can see, the change analysis. So here you can see that there are in the top, you can see that there are gain and loss by category, then net change by category, contributors to net change experienced by. Here the class is water. In the top part, you can see. So you can play with this software. You click on different options and you can change. Instead of water, you write, you give the salt crust, you will get the change with respect to salt. Then if you give the options, there's the barren land, you will get the comparison of how barren land has changed. So a change analysis, this option will give you results in graphical format. Then the next option, we have change maps. This is in a graphical system, the area statistics is represented. Then in the change maps, you can see next option, we have a special image map is given. What has changed from 1992 to 2009? So this is basically we are giving the training to this model, LCA model of past 1992 to 2009. What has changed in this particular in this study area? So you can fill up the map changes, and you will see a special map generated with the software, and the legends that water to vegetation, salt crust to vegetation, salt pan to vegetation, which class has changed to which class. This software gives an output of the final change map with the conversion of LULC. So change maps are given. Then you can, in the third option, special trend of change. So this is a cubic third, you have seen the polynomial third stage, the third degree is given. So in this option, you will get the dimension of change, in which portion the vegetation will extend, or in which portion this will salt pan or will extend. So in this way, what could be the dimension of the wetland or the LULC classes will be observed. So we have given the, we see that we have already done the change area map change. The software is giving you the area statistics, then it is giving you the mapping portion conversion map, and lastly on the trend of change. What is the trend? So you can follow the same steps of from now we have done here from 1992 to 2009. Similar, you have to repeat the same option from 2009 to 19. Then after giving training of 2 decades, then with the same process, you can give the input as 2019 and output as 2029. So it will give you the future map. So similar trend of result will be given by the software. So here you can see that for my study area, I had predicted for till 2059, from 2029, 39, 49, and 59. So 2059 till 2059, this lake is allowed for salt production under the government jurisdiction. So this was important to know. And in the result, 4 maps, you can see that this is supposed to be a lake. In the initial, you saw that the lake was full of water, and now the lake is encroached. The cyan color, you can see the circle portion, that there is how the water is left in the lake. Even the saline character is lost. So because of the illegal activities, the wetland is on the verge of loss in the near future till 2059. So, and these are the area statistics. You can generate it for the future, that which class would convert from which class, area graphs. So this is the spatial representation of future prediction. Then this is the graphical representation of the future status. And so you can compare. So finally, if you go through the entire study, we see, compare the result. In 1972, the lake was full of water. Then 2019, water was not there, but at least saline soil were intact to the lake. But if the same rate of encroachment goes, by 2059, even the saline character might also be lost. So water will be lost and the saline character will also be lost. So with the similar steps and techniques, you can repeat the same process and know what could be the future of the lake. So in this way, if we see the from point of view of ecosystem services, if water is lost, so automatically this lake is very important for flamingos, because this is a saline lake, and in saline lake the red algae survive, and which by eating those red algae, flamingos become pink. So if there is no water in the lake, then there will be no red algae. If there is no red algae, the flamingos will be losing their critical habitat. So one of the habitat ecosystem services will be lost, then groundwater recharge will be lost, and many others, the dam purpose provisioning services, recreation services, so many services will be at the stake. So there will be so many services, wetland ecosystem services will be at stake. So in this way, using the geospatial technology, remote sensing and geospatial technology, we can study our wetland ecosystem, we can identify, we can visualize at a spatial domain, we can know its past, present, and also predict the future. And before going into the negative direction, we can save our wetlands, save the ecosystem services, we can restore it in the using this technology. So I hope you all have got the point, and step-by-step manual, and you can use this technology for your studies. Thank you.
Great, thank you for the very detailed session, and I have a lot of information. I'm sure there's a question that from everyone that watching, there's question, and there's some question that I think this should be better for you to answer than us. So I think Sapira, he asked a question about how did you, they asked a question about how did you get the shapefile of the lake, and did you do that by yourself by visualize the vectors, or you can find that in some other source?
How did you get the point? Please repeat. How did you get
the shapefile of the Sambar lake?
Okay, so yes, shapefile. I got the shapefile from Sambar Salt Limited. We get a topo sheet. In India, we have Survey of India map, and there we have topo sheet. I got the topo sheet from Government of India, and in a JPG format. Then I overlaid so I used that JPG image into the ArcGIS. Then I georeferenced the topo sheet, and then I digitized it and made the vector shapefile. Or if there is no topo sheet, also there is Diva GIS, or there are many other online sites from where you can get the shapefile. You can download the shapefile, you can extract as per the requirement.
Right. And everyone, I hope the answer is clear. And if you have other question, you can just type it, or you can also turn on the mic and give us your question. Besides, I think for the shapefile, if you have the satellite images, I believe you can also create your own shapefile by chasing the shape of your study area. It's another alternative way to do that. If it's not like a very big project, I guess.
If satellite image is also there, then you by using the base map, as I shown, you can visit through the base map also and prepare the shapefile. If you cannot collect it either from any offices or online, can self-create it with accuracy.
I think Nita asked a question before. She was asking about the alternative software for the analysis beside commercial software that we have in here, like ArcGIS and Terra. I believe we also pay Terrset about like $100 for student license.
Yeah, this is a license software, but you can also take its extensions online. There is a second option, or as I think in QGIS also some sort of small period of time, I think projection is possible. Open software, like in Terrset, you can predict it for longer version, like for 50 years, 70 years. Maybe I am not sure, but in QGIS, I think my colleagues have done it for short span, like 10 years, I guess. So that could be a free open source software, QGIS, maybe.
Okay, there's another question, like how you create a variable for distance of the road from a thread.
Yes, like there is a wetland and a road goes in the mid of or the side. So you have to digitize the road, create the shapefile, and then using the same ArcGIS, there is an option called buffer, BUFFER. With the help of buffer, if like there should not be any construction zone up to the 10 kilometer or 20 kilometer, you can create the buffer zone in the shapefile format, and then you can input it into the Terrset software as a additional variable of future prediction. So a road map or the railway, either if you have topo sheets, you can digitize it the same way, the railway tracks or the construction sites. Then you can make the buffer and make it like we have converted from JPG TIFF to .rst. Similarly, we can create this from SHP to RST format, compatible format, and then it is very easy. This is very easy software, but if you do not have a licensed version, you can that is not advisable, but you can go also for the crack version. But QGIS also you can try if you want to, if you do not get any online or you are not so much good at collecting the crack version.
I think most of the analysis that you've done in ArcGIS can also be done in QGIS, but it's not as convenient as you have to learn everything and then you have to look for specific tools. Of course, yeah, ArcGIS is like commercial software, so everything is quite easy to learn.
Definitely.
Right. I think there's one question about measuring distance. I'm not really sure what distance are we talking about? Superior,
Maybe distance from road or railway, if we have already discussed distance. Or...
I'm not really sure as well. Okay, if superior distance from road. I also have the similar question, like how would you determine how many meters or like how far from the road it will be dangerous?
Yes, like in my study area, it is already given by government that there should be 3 kilometers buffer zone should be there. Means from the lake official boundary to 3 kilometers, there should not be any construction area. In many marine wetlands, there are coastals like 20 kilometer already it is declared. So if your wetland study area is not a designated Ramsar site, then based on your expertise that what should be the distance so that birds do not get disturbed or the biodiversity is not hampered. So you can decide it and make the boundary first, digitize the official boundary. Then you can create, see here, I would like to show that my entire, this is the official boundary of Sambar Lake. Then as it is officially declared that it should be 3 kilometer buffer zone should be there. So I have clipped my study area in 3 kilometer buffer. So originally this is this is the original boundary. Then the official permissible boundary, I created the buffer zone and then I clipped the data. So if you have your study site has been declared, there is from the government that there should be a distance. So you can create the buffer zone from the shapefile and then you clip the study area.
Yeah, thank you. That's very good to know. There's I didn't know that there's have like a legal requirement for that. Okay. I think Superior asked again about the measure spatial distance. I think it can be done really easy in the. Do you want to answer the question, like how you measure the distance from within the software?
You can measure the distance. There is a scale option. I am unable to know what to measure. If I understand the distance of the diameter, like there is a scale, or what says?
Yeah, in should be there should be the tools to just check the distance.
Yes, if that is the scale is available in the top, and you can measure the distance, or if you want to measure the distance, I think there is an option in ArcGIS. I'm not able to remember. Special analyst tool. I think in that specially there are tools where you can measure. Right now, the exact option I'm not able to recall. I think there she might get.
Hey, I think we addressed most of the question. Like, does anyone have more specific question or other things you want to ask? So I think if no one wants to ask, I would like to say something else. So we will record the session and we will publish it in the GIS YouTube channel. And you can, I will send the link for all of you later, so you can always rewatch it. And really thank you, Rajashree, for your time and then the volunteer with us. Like, it's not always have the people who support GIS and then working with the team to create a meaningful and an informative session like this. Thank you so much for your time, and we know that you already finished your PhD, so we wish you all the best for the next chapter in your life and going to work and everything.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for joining us and supporting GIS. And if at all there is another further any questions, you can email to me, or if that is after the lecture is published in GIS, you can give the comment, and we will try to figure it out and we will try to solve it. Thank you.
Exactly. For the last email I sent all of you, there's a Rajashree's email, and if you want a cooperation or ask for the question, you always can contact her with that.
Yes.
Right. Thank you everyone for your time as well. And I hope to see you in the next session of GIS.
Yes.
Thank you, Rajashrii, for another time. It's really amazing. Right. I will close the session. Yes. Okay. There's can you get the presentation? We will talk about that. I'm not sure yet. Maybe we will just publish the record. Yeah, because it contains everything. So it's better for the presentation. It's a bit personal. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day and see you soon. Bye bye.